Okay, I want to do a second part of Husserl's Phenomenology of Internal Time Consciousness. I want to discuss a couple things. I'm going to do a couple further parts. This part is going to be discussions about the actual continuum. So I want to begin reading on the 11th one. The source point with which the degeneration of the enduring object begins is primal impression. This consciousness is engaged in continuous alteration. The actual tonal now is constantly changed into something that has been, constantly an ever-fresh tonal now, which passes over into modification, peels off. However, when the tonal now, the primal impression, passes over into retention, this retention is itself again a now, an actual existent. While it itself is actual, but not an actual sound, it is the retention of a sound that has been. So, we're talking about an actual consciousness of temporal objects. So you have a primal impression, and that constantly shades off and peels off, and turns into retentions, and this continuum of consciousness of temporal objects is difficult to explain, which is why I'm going to mostly read it specifically from the text, because I'm sure that if I try to explain it, I'm gonna fuck it up, because it's difficult to explain, but it's awesome. I'm just gonna say that right now. But anyway, I want to go further, because there's a part down here later. There we go. Okay. If we now relate what has been said about perception to the differences of the givenness with which temporal objects make their appearance, then the antithesis of perception is primary remembrance. So here he's talking about he talks about the difference of those three, of the primal impression and both kinds of remembrances. And then here's when he introduces his continuum that I mentioned. I mentioned it last time, but I didn't really go into it. Apprehensions here pass continually over into one another and terminate in an apprehension constituting the now. This apprehension, however, is only an ideal limit. We are concerned here with a continuum of gradations in the direction of an ideal limit, like the convergence of various shades of red toward an ideally pure red. However, in this case, we do not have individual apprehensions corresponding to the individual shades of red, which indeed can be given for themselves. Rather, we always have, and according to the nature of the matter, can only have continuities of apprehensions, or better, a single continuum, which is constantly modified. If somehow we divide this continuum into two adjoining parts, that part which includes the now, or is capable of constituting it, designates and constitutes the gross now, which, as soon as we divide it further, immediately breaks down again into a finer now and a past, etc. Sorry. Okay. Perception, therefore, has here the character of an act which includes a continuity of such characters, and is distinguished by possession of that ideal limit mentioned above. So, I think reading this was good, because this is giving a better understanding of what the actual continuums are. Because I like how it says here that this immediately breaks down again into a finer now and a past, etc. Because once you go past every primary impression, you have one huge gross now. Each primary impression constitutes a huge gross now. Gross meaning entire. And in that you get finer continuums within it as you get retentions and further recollections and things like that. So this is good, I think. This is what caused me to blow a fuse, because I just thought it was so awesome. This is what caused that. This whole thing about the continuum. Now, in the last video, I did not explain it very well, but this, I believe, explained it, because I think it explains how awesome it is, and it makes you think, like, if you were listening to a horn player, if you're listening to any kind of music, it makes you think about makes you think about tones and their progression, makes you think about that whole thing a little bit differently. So yeah, this is one thing that I think is pretty awesome. But anyway, the next video I'm going to discuss retentions and protensions and intentionality that are actually in there. So there you go. There you have it.